फ्रेंड्स, आप लोग ठीक ठाक हैं। मैं आज एंथ्रोपोलॉजी को डिस्कस करूंगा आपके साथ। हम डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स डिस्कस करते आ रहे हैं। आज भी हम टॉपिक्स को डिस्कस करेंगे फ्रॉम एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल यूपीएससी एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल मेंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। इससे आपको अवेकनिंग होने वाली है, आपका नॉलेज बेस बढ़ेगा। अगर आप मेरी वीडियोस को फॉलो करते हो एंड तक, स्टार्टिंग से लेके एंड तक, तो आपको अच्छा स्कोर मिलेगा। आपको प्रॉपर गाइडेंस मिल जाएगी इन वीडियो के थ्रू। आपने टॉपिक्स के अंदर जो दिया है वो क्या पढ़ना है आपने, और क्या उसमें डिस्कस करना है आपने, वो सब चीज़ें आपको इन वीडियोस में आपको प्राप्त होने वाली है। आज हम पढ़ते हैं एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी के बारे में। एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी का काम क्या है, ये करता क्या है, ये स्टडी करता है। एंथ्रोपोलॉजी जो है ये भी सब डिवीज़न है एंथ्रोपोलॉजी का, और ये डिसीज़ के बारे में डील करता है। और डिसीज़ के फैक्टर्स क्या क्या हैं, उन डिसीज़ के बारे में डील करता है, उन फैक्टर्स के बारे में डील करता है। ओके, तो एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है। ओके, सो अब इसका काम क्या है। एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी ये डिसीज के स्प्रेड को पता करता है और उसको, उसके इम्पैक्ट को कम करने की कोशिश करता है। ओके, अब इसकी बड़ी सारी ब्रांचेस हैं एपिडेमियोलॉजी की। ओके, तो इसमें हम डिफरेंट ब्रांचेस को हम डिस्कस करते हैं। अब उससे पहले हम करते क्या हैं कि हम हेल्थ को मेजर भी करते हैं, डिसीज का भी पता लगाते हैं, और ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है दोनों एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में। ओके, सो अब अप्रोचेस की बात करें एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में, हम डिफरेंट अप्रोचेस पढ़ते हैं। मेनली हम दो अप्रोचेस को डिस्कस करेंगे, एक है डिस्क्रिप्टिव और एक है एनालिटिकल। तो दो अप्रोचेस हैं स्टडी करने की एपिडेमियोलॉजी की, वो हम देखते हैं। ओके, तो हम डिस्क्रिप्टिव में हम क्या करते हैं, हम डिसीज कितनी फ्रीक्वेंट है, कितने टाइम के बाद डिसीज होती है, वो हम डिस्कस करते हैं। और डिसीज कितनी फैली हुई है, उसकी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कितनी है, वो हम चेक करते हैं। सो डिसीज फ्रीक्वेंसी और डिसीज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन जो है वो हम डिस्कस करते हैं। एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी की अगर हम बात करें, तो एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी की क्या करता है, एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी ये पता लगाता है कि फैक्टर्स क्या क्या है जो कि रिस्पॉन्सिबल है डिसीज को काज करने के लिए, किन किन वजहों से डिसीज का होना लाजमी है। तो हम पढ़ते हैं, इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं। हम एनालिटिकल डिस्क्रिप्टिव एपिडेमियोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं और एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी हम पढ़ते हैं। तो डिस्क्रिप्टिव एपिडेमियोलॉजी के बारे में मैंने आपको बताया, ये बताता है डिसीज की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या है और डिसीज की फ्रीक्वेंसी, ये दो चीज़ें क्लैरिफाई करता है। एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी हमें बताता है कि डिटर्मिनेंट्स क्या क्या है, फैक्टर्स क्या है, काजेस क्या है। ओके, तो हम पता कैसे चलता है एपिडेमियोलॉजिकल डिस्क्रिप्टिव एपिडेमियोलॉजी में क्या कैसे पता चलता है, हम करते क्या है, इसमें हम केस स्टडीज करते हैं। ठीक है, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, केस स्टडीज करते हैं, पेशेंट की एज ए केस मान के उसको हम डिस्कस करते हैं, स्टडी करते हैं, उसकी डिसीजेस को हम स्टडी करते हैं। ओके, एक होता है इकोलॉजिकल स्टडीज। ओके, इकोलॉजिकल स्टडीज में हम क्या करते हैं, हम एनवायरनमेंट में, ओके, सो एक ज्योग्राफिकल एनवायरनमेंट में, एक एनवायरनमेंट में हम डिसीज को पकड़ते हैं और उसके दूसरे एरिया में, जो दूसरा एनवायरनमेंट है, वहाँ की जो पॉपुलेशन है उनकी डिसीज को हम कंपैरिजन करते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, जो कैंसर की डिसीज है आपको कहाँ पे मिलेगी, जहाँ पे हजार्डस वेस्ट साइट्स होंगी ना, वहाँ पे आपको जो है ये आपको उस एरियाज में कैंसर की डिसीजेस आपको ज़्यादा देखने को मिलती हैं। ओके, उसके बाद आता है, पहले तो आएगा डिस्क्रिप्टिव एपिडेमियोलॉजी, उसके बाद आता है एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी। सो एनालिटिकल एपिडेमियोलॉजी में हम क्या करते हैं, हम इसमें फैक्टर्स क्या क्या है, क्या कारण रहे होंगे डिसीज को, रिस्क को इंक्रीज करने के या फिर रिस्क को डिक्रीज करने के। ओके, काजेस क्या रहे होंगे डिसीज आउटकम के, डिसीजेस के कारण क्या रहे होंगे, वो हम इनमें डिस्कस करते हैं। व्हाट आर द रीजंस फॉर द डिसीज that is studied under analytical epidemiology. Here we do observational and method. So what is in observational method? We study cross sectional disease. Okay, we study cross sectional disease. We study interventional, we study cross sectional disease, we study case control, we study cohort studies. Okay, तो हम what we do in this, what we do in this, we study the disease. We study in cross sectional studies, we study what are the cause of an outbreak of disease, why disease occur, that we study in cross sectional study. Then we take case control disease. It means we take individual that is having disease and it compare with individual without the disease. So if there is an association of the disease with prior exposure to an agent, case control studies. Okay, so then comes cohort studies. Cohort means we take group of individuals, okay, that has exposure, and take group of individuals that has no exposure, then they are compared over time. Okay. So the cohort study is different from experimental study, okay, because he is only observing, okay, it is only observing the disease. So investigates the disease between exposed and unexposed groups. Okay, if the disease is prevalent different, okay, it means that the exposure is related to illness. You got my point? In cohort study, we take a group of individuals who are having exposure, and it is compared with those individuals that are not having exposure. And if disease are present in the exposure group, then we can say that the exposure is related to some disease. This is called cohort study. And case control studies. What is case control studies? We have discussed with you. Then comes intervention studies. What is the intervention? So there are different approaches of epidemiological anthropology. We have to study those approaches of epidemiological anthropology. So we are here studying approaches to epidemiological anthropology. What is that? We will study over here. So here we study disease, we study health, we study sickness, okay, in relation to culture, behavior and environment. Culture, behavior and environment we study. So here we study descriptive and analytical. Okay, descriptive and analytical approaches. Okay, so in descriptive we will try to study what is happening. Okay, who is affected, why it is affected, when it is happening. And analytical approach, we study why is it happening. We study cause and relation effect. Okay, so there are two approaches. We are study descriptive approach. It tells us what is happening, when disease is happening, who are affected, and where it is happening, and when it is happening. Means season, years, sudden outbreaks, locations, environment, who is affecting, gender, age, occupation. In analytical, we try to explain why is it is happening. We study the risk factors like environment, the social condition, the behavior. We study cultural and structural reason behind the patterns in descriptive as well as analytical epidemiology. Okay, that is very much important. So we have studied again health and disease. Okay, health and disease. So far we have studied descriptive and analytical approach of epidemiological anthropology. Okay. So health is not just not sick. It is ability to live a life your society values. So disease means some disorder in the body. There may be some infection, there may be some injury, there may be some malfunctioning of the body, injury, malfunctioning, and infection. That is the definition of disease. And biological, and what is health means your body is working well, means there is no major sickness or injury. That is health. Disease is some disorder in the body. Anthropological view of health. Anthropological views they says that your body is working well, you are able to function in your social and cultural roles. Okay. For example, healthy means being physically strong. In another, it means mind a calm body or strong spiritual balance. Means a calm body or strong spiritual balance. That is called anthropological view in your social and cultural roles. So, if we take disease biological view, then it means some disorder in the body. There is some body is not functioning well. So, what is anthropological view? Anthropological view says that what counts as a disease, it depends from culture to culture. Okay. For example, Western medicine may not label soul loss as a disease, but in some traditional system it is considered as real and treatable condition, soul loss. Okay. So there is a difference between disease and health. You know, I have discussed with you health and disease. Okay. Means our body is working well. It means our healthy body is healthy. So it has different meaning in different environment. In one environment, a strong physical culture, in one culture, a strong physical body is considered as healthy. Whereas in case of in some other cultural environment, a calm mind or spiritual balance may be considered as healthy. But in from anthropological point of view about health, for example, soul loss may not be considered as health problem, unhealthy. But in some traditional systems, soul loss can be treated and curable. And what about health? Disease. Disease is any disorder in the body, maybe due to injury, maybe due to sickness, maybe due to injury, due to infection. And from anthropological point of view, means it has different meaning in different environment. Okay. So that is called disease. Means our body is able to function in your social and cultural roles. That is the difference between health and disease. You must know that. Okay. So, for example, there are certain measurable values. Okay. So there are certain measurable values. For example, normal body temperature, pulse rate, respiration rate, breathing rate, blood pressure, height, weight, sensitivity of hearing, and other normal measurable characteristics may be termed as healthy. For example, health is measured in terms of certain measurable aspects, like a body having normal body temperature, normal breathing rate, normal heart rate, normal blood pressure, weight, height, accurate vision, sensitivity of hearing, and other normal measurable characteristics may be considered as healthy. Okay. Now, when it comes to disease, disease means there is body is not functioning well, means there is deviation from the normal functioning of the body. Okay. It shows some disease, shows some signs or symptoms indicating of its abnormal state. Okay. So there are two categories of disease. One is congenital disease and another is acquired disease. Congenital and disease and acquired is acquired disease. So there is a lot of difference between congenital disease and acquired disease. So congenital disease means it is present from birth. A person when is born, it is having that disease. For example, we have discussed about genital disease like cystic fibrosis, Huntington's disease, hemophilia A, hemophilia B. That is called congenital disease. Okay. So means they are present from birth, means you are born with it. Acquired disease means they are developed after the birth, means they are developed later on. Okay. So a condition, a deviation from the normal functioning of the body occurs after you get birth. Okay. So acquired disease. Okay. So there are further distinguishes between acquired disease, and that is communicable and non-communicable disease. What is that? We will discuss on it. Okay. So communicational disease means disease that can spread from one person to another. Okay. And non-communication disease that cannot spread from one person to another person. For example, diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, asthma. Okay. So non-communication means the community can catch it and nobody can catch it from you. That is the difference between communicable disease, non-communicable disease. Okay, communicable and non-communicable disease comes under acquired disease, and congenital disease are means you are born with it. Okay, so for example, allergic, cancer, organ degenerative disease, deficiency disease. Okay, in communication disease we have pathogen related disease, that is viral disease, then bacterial disease, then fungal disease, protozoan disease, viral disease, fungal disease, viral disease, fungal disease, bacterial disease, protozoan disease. These are all comes under pathogen related diseases. So there are two types of diseases I have discussed with you. Okay, one is communicable disease. It is also called as bacteria. Okay, so fungi, protozoan. Okay, so they enter the body through food, water, insects, bites. Okay, they damage tissue. Okay, they release toxins or harmful. There is harmful immune reaction. Okay, so what is a pathogen? It is a germ that can cause disease. So all these are pathogen related disease. So bacteria is a single celled organism. Okay, then comes virus. So virus need living cells to multiply. So it is also a genetic material present inside a protein coat. COVID-19 fungi means it includes yields, yeasts and molds. So protozoan are also called single celled organism, and they often spread by water, insects. Helminths means parasitical worms. Tapeworm infection, helminths. They are called pathogen related disease. Okay. Bacterial disease, single celled organism. Protozoan, single celled organism. Fungi includes yeasts and molds. Viruses includes protein, coat. Okay. That is that. Bacteria, virus, fungi. This is all this very important. Okay. So bacteria, it is a microorganism. Virus, fungi, they can infect skin, they can infect your nails. Protozoan, single celled organisms. Okay, so there are diseases associated with it, you have to learn. So what are the determinants of these diseases? Health and diseases. Okay, infectious disease, non-infectious disease, we have to study. Okay, there are various determinants of disease, and there are various determinants of health and disease. So there are socio-economic conditions like hygienic, standard of living, habits, health habits, hygienic, nutrition, all are socio-economic determinants of disease. Hygienic, nutrition, medical and public health. If medical and public health are available to prevent, to combat diseases. Okay, there are medical health, public health. Okay, there are various factors responsible for the disease, socio-economical. Okay, ecosystem, the oxygen, water, food, fuel, natural resources. They are various determinants of health and disease. So there are various kinds of health and disease. You must know about it, as it can be asked in the question. Means behavioral, there are physical environment, socio-economic factors, cultural factors, political factors, access to health care, that is gene, life, they are very well connected. For example, genetics, they are also genetic biological factors, that is genetical factors are also responsible for disease. Behavioral factors, lifestyle factors, what do you do? Diet, physical activity, smoking, alcohol use, sleeping habits. Then physical environment, where you live. So air and water quality, climate, pollution, social and economic condition, means income, education, social support, inequality. There are cultural and political factors, beliefs about health and illness, healthcare system, government policies, access to healthcare, affordable and quality of medical service. So when there are no health facilities, then their death rate are very high. Okay, so that are the various factors where people stay healthy or get sick. There can be biological factors, there can be social factors, there can be cultural factors, there can be environmental factors, and there can be behavioral factors. So there are a lot of factors that are responsible for determinants of disease. You must know it. So I have discussed with you health and disease. I have discussed with you approaches of epidemiological anthropology, difference between health and disease, communicable and non-communicable disease, that is infectious and non-infectious disease. I have discussed with you factors, determinants of disease, the environment you live in, access to public health care, genetic factors, that is biological factors, I mean to say, the physical environment, Lifestyle factors, that is behavioral or lifestyle factors. Physical activity, smoking, alcohol, sleeping habits. Then physical environment where you live in. That is housing, air and water quality, climate, pollution. Then there are social and economic factors. Income, education, job, social support, inequality. Then there are cultural and political factors. Beliefs about health and illness. There are beliefs about health and illness, healthcare system, culture stigma, government policies. So these factors are related and they often interact with each other. Okay. Then comes I have discussed with you. Now I will discuss what is infectious and non-infectious disease. So what is infectious and there are a lot of difference between infectious and non-infectious. So infectious disease means disease that are caused by germs, pathogens, microorganisms like bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa, and parasites. So they are spread by direct contact, contaminated food, water, air. Example, tuberculosis, COVID-19, malaria, measles. They are usually communicable. It can pass from one person to another person through some infectious disease. Though some infectious disease like tetanus are not passed from one people to another people. Non-infectious disease. So disease that are caused by not caused by germs, genetic, environmental or lifestyle factors, not by pathogens. For example, genetic factors of disease. So there are infectious and non-infectious disease. So they are caused by environment, lifestyle factors, genetics. They are called, it is not contagious. You can't catch it from someone. So infectious disease means infection involved, non-infectious disease means non-infection involved. Infectious disease are caused by germs, they can spread. And non-infectious disease, they are caused by multiple factors like genetic factors, or biological factors, lifestyle factors, environmental factors, and not by pathogens. Okay, they are usually communicable disease. Okay, so you must know infectious and non-infectious disease. So Negroes, they are they are having frostbites than Eskimos. Okay. So infection is transmitted, it is not transmitted. Okay. So we have discussed so far approaches of epidemiological anthropology and disease and health, communicable and non-communicable diseases, infectious and non-infectious diseases. Okay. Another topic is nutritional deficiency related diseases. So it happens when our body does not get enough of nutrients. Okay. So pure nutrition means brings many illness. Okay. For example, protein. Less of protein cause protein energy malnutrition. ठीक है. So protein energy malnutrition, there is a lack of proteins or calories. For example, kwashiorkor, severe protein deficiency means swollen belly and thick muscles, thin muscles. So marasmus means extreme thinness, stunted growth. So kwashiorkor and kawashi, they are called, they have consumed too little protein or energy or both. One is protein deficiency disease, another is calorie deficiency disease. Kwashiorkor and marasmus. Lack of proteins or calories, protein energy malnutrition. Then comes vitamin deficiency disease. So vitamin deficiency disease means vitamin A, that is night blindness, vitamin D, rickets, means weak bones in children, vitamin C, scurvy, bleeding gums, poor wounding health, vitamin B1, thiamine, beriberi, means nerve damage, vitamin B1, vitamin B3, niacin. And vitamin B12, perinicious anemia, fatigue, nerve problems, vitamin B12. Okay, that is vitamin deficiency disease. We have vitamin B1, thiamine, vitamin B3, niacin, vitamin B12, perinicious anemia, that is fatigueness in the body or nerve problem, vitamin B3, pellagra. Okay, vitamin B3 is pellagra. Then vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B1, vitamin B3, vitamin B12. Then comes mineral deficiency disease. Iron deficiency disease, anemia. Iodine deficiency disease, goiter. Calcium means weak bonds. Zinc means stunted growth. Poor wound healing. So we have nutritional deficiency disease like protein deficiency disease, mineral deficiency disease like iron, calcium, iodine, zinc, poor wound healing, stunted growth, zinc. So vitamins related diseases, vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin B1, B3, thiamine, niacin, and vitamin B12. Perinicious anemia, iron deficiency, iodine deficiency, calcium deficiency, zinc deficiency, mineral deficiency, vitamin deficiency, and protein deficiency. So there are various types of infectious disease, non-infectious disease, nutritional deficiency disease. So malnutrition is a condition of prolonged deficiency of energy or specific nutrients. So epidemiological anthropology. So the study of humans, cultures, and societies. How disease affect people by not looking at germs or biology, but also at culture, behavior, and society. So how health is not just biology, it is about how people live and what they believe and the environment they live in. So when we put together epidemiology means disease of how disease spread and affect population, the study of humans, so the cultural beliefs and practices. What are cultural beliefs and practices that influence our health and illness? Why some cultural group gets more sick than others based on their lifestyle, environment, and social condition? How politics, economic, and social inequality affects disease pattern? So here is epidemiological anthropology is explained in detail. Epidemiology means we are talking about disease. Anthropology means we are talking about human, culture, society. So when we put them together, that is epidemiological anthropology. It means how different cultural beliefs and practices affects health and illness. How political, economic, and social inequality affect disease patterns. Why some groups more get sick more than others based on their lifestyle, their environment, their social conditions. So discussed with you how to acclimatize with the climate, with the weather. We have discussed with you Allen's rule and Bergman's rule. Bergman's rule deals with bulkier and stocky body. Allen's rule deals with appendages length. How Bergman's rule and Allen's rule applied in case of hot and cold climate region I have discussed with you. People living in colder region are having bulkier body and stocky body. because they need more of fats to protect from heat, cold weather. People living in hotter region, they have more appendages, like that, more length of arm and legs, because they have to release more of heat from the body. That is Bergman's rule and Allen's rule. So there is a man, how man adjusts with hot climate, cold climate. What happens? Our homeostasis gets disturbed. Our permeability gets increased or decreased. Capillary permeability gets increased or decreased. How our blood gets more viscous, less viscous in colder and hotter region. Why? Here pyorelaxation occurs in different climatic condition. Okay, why our lungs gets enlarged in higher altitude region? Because it needs, there is deficiency of oxygen over there, and our lung capacity gets increased. Why people living in colder region have short nose, whereas people living in hotter region have uh, short or narrow nose, but people living in hot region have broad nose. Why it is that? It is because of the biological adaptation and cultural adaptation. People buy loose cloths, people buy heavy clothes, having clothing, light and loose clothes in hot climatic condition. People build insulated houses in cold condition. People build elevated houses in flood prone areas. Okay, why our hemoglobin HB level gets increased in higher altitude levels. Lungs get enlarged in higher altitude climate. So these are biological and cultural adaptation. That is very much important. Biological adjustment. Okay. So breathing rate also gets increased. There is Bergman's rule, Allen's rule. So there is decrease capillary permeability. In hotter region, there is a lot of sweating. In colder region, there is a lot of shivering. So there is hotter region, colder region, there is piloerection, means hair on skin stand up. Hair gets flattened, they get stand up. Pilorelaxation. Why? Hair, that is different phenomena. The hair flattens. Pilorelaxation means the hair flattens. Or hair gets stand up. Okay. there is what happens in hot climatic condition. There is increased metal tone. There is blood viscosity gets increased. There is peripheral vasoconstriction. So vasoconstriction means arteries get smaller, so it reduces blood going to skin, keeping pore warm. So vasoconstriction means arteries get smaller. So vasodilation means arteries get enlarged, more blood flow, and heat is lost. We have to lose heat. We have to keep our body warm. So sweating occurs and shivering occurs. So there is a lot of things that occurs. Blood viscosity gets increased in colder region. Local metabolism gets decreased, and oxygen consumption also gets decreased. Capillary permeability gets decreased. So peripheral vasoconstriction takes place. So shivering causes short-term effect. हमने एक्लिमेटाइजेशन, ह्यूमन अडेप्टेशन, ह्यूमन कैसे अडेप्टेशन होती है टुवर्ड्स कोल्ड क्लाइमेट, टुवर्ड्स hot climate, and towards higher altitude. कैसे पेरिफेरल वैसोकॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन होती है और कैसे पेरिफेरल वैसो डायलेशन होती है. पेरिफेरल वैसो डायलेशन आपको देखने को मिलेगी हॉट रीजन में. ओके, तो पेरिफेरल वैसोकॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन आपको मिलेगी कोल्ड रीजन में. हॉट रीजन में आपको मिलेगी पेरिफेरल vasoconstriction, dilation, peripheral vasodilation, and cold region में मिलेगी peripheral vasoconstriction. तो पायरो रिलैक्सेशन आपको मिलेगी हॉट रीजन में, पायरो इरेक्शन आपको मिलेगी कोल्ड रीजन में. तो ये इस तरह से बॉडी हमारी बायोलॉजिकल अडेप्टेशन करती है टुवर्ड्स क्लाइमेट. इसमें हम फिजियोलॉजिकल में कैसे रिस्पॉन्स करता है, इसमें हमने बर्गमैन्स रूल, एलेंस रूल्स पढ़ा था, है ना. तो फिजियोलॉजी में हम देखते हैं कि बॉडी सिस्टम किस तरह से फंक्शन करता है, बॉडी सिस्टम कैसे हमारा वर्क करता है. जैसे व्हेन वी एक्सरसाइज आवर हार्ट रेट इंक्रीजेस, व्हेन वी ईट फूड आवर स्टमक ब्रेक्स इट डाउन, दैट्स ए फिजियोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस. So sweating to cool down on a hot day is also physiological. That is anything to do with how your body works internally. That is physiological. It refers to how the body system body's systems and functions. Body का system, that is like breathing, how does it takes place, how digestion takes place, how heart beats, how muscle movement takes place, all about the normal activities inside your body. That is called physiological. So man's physiological response. So man's physiological response means how body functions and how body internally reacts. Means activities that are taking place in our body in order to react towards the external environment. How body systems and functions work, or how internal, or how it's about the normal activities inside your body. That is how body systems and functions work. We have also discussed various physiological factors like HB level, body fat, pulse rate, respiratory functions, in which we discuss cellular respiration and respiration. Then we discuss sensory perceptions in different cultural and socio-economic groups. How different culture and social economic groups, how sensory perception takes place, how we think, feel, perceive about the senses, how to body experiences with the senses, sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of hearing. Okay, so this our different cultural settings and different socioeconomic conditions that are very much important. Okay, there is a variation in high blood pressure, then there is methods of ecological anthropology, how body adapts to, how the role of environment on our body, how culture, culturally, socially, human adapt to the environment. So we have biocultural adaptation, that is genetic and non-genetic factors. Okay, have we discussed application of ecological anthropology? We have discussed so far. We have discussed that Julian Stewart coined the term cultural ecology. So that is biocultural adaptation, in we study the various methods of ecological anthropology. We have studied physiological characteristics, so we also studied blood, age, sex and population variation, age, sex and population variation as genetic markers. That how do we study age, sex and population variation as genetic markers? That is ABO, blood group system, RH system, HLA, haptoglobulin, transferrin, GM, blood enzymes, how then physiological characteristics we have discussed so far. Then racial crossing, major racial classification, Caucasoid race, Negroid race, Mongoloid race. We have discussed metric and non-metric biological basis of morphological variation of metric and non-metric characters. So non-metric characters and metric characters and genetic characters, that is serological and polygenic, we have discussed. In racial classification, race and racism we have discussed. Race formation, race and racism, we have discussed a lot of things in it and have gathered a lot of knowledge on this ecological anthropology, epidemiological anthropology. Then age, sex and genetic factors, metric characters, non-metric characters, biological basis of racial classification. We have racism, we have various other things to discuss over there. Have we discussed a lot of things in detail? That is very much important. I want to add to it. Then we have racial and racism. I have discussed with you. That is very much important from the different points of view. So let's study human growth and development. What are the various stages of growth? What are the factors affecting growth and development? Like how environment is affecting growth and development, how nutritional affecting growth and development, cultural factors, socio-economic factors, biochemical factors, genetic factors. Okay, then we will discuss aging and senescence. Then we will discuss theories and observation, biological and chronological factors, human physique and somatotypes. So methods for growth studies. So there are a lot of things that we will discuss in chapter number 10. So let us begin with this. So discuss what is growth and development, human growth and development. So growth means there is a physical increase in some quantity over time. Means human beings experiences increase in height, increase in weight, general physical appearances. There are changes. So there is a increase in some quantity over time. So refers to physiological changes and structural changes. Okay. Then development. Development refers to the changes in the organism as a whole. So development is a continuous process. So you must always write when it comes to definition. You must quote the definition by thinkers or anthropologists in your answer writing, because that will give you good marks. So development is a continuous process. It is a continuous process through which physical, emotional, and intellectual changes occurs. It is a more wider and comprehensive term than growth. It is also possible without growth. So Skinner definition of growth and development I have discussed with you. So you must know what is the difference between human growth and development. Okay. So it is very much important to know about growth and development because it will help doctors, parents, teachers support healthy changes in the body and support problems very early. It will be able to spot problems very early. So there are various stages of growth and development that we will take up later on. Okay. So growth refers to there is a development, brain development, social development, emotional development. So it is a process of how there is a changes in our body. So when we are babies until we become adults and even beyond. So it is the concept of human growth and development. So growth refers to physical increase in some quantity over time. Growth refers to structural and physiological changes. So development definition given by Skinner, development is a continuous process that involves physiological changes, emotional changes, intellectual changes. It is a more wider and comprehensive term than growth. It is also possible without growth. Okay, so Crow and Crow has given the definition of growth, and Skinner's definition has been given by Skinner definition. Skinner has given definition of development. I have told it to you. Okay, so what are the principles of growth and development? So there are different principles that are followed in growth and development. First is principles of uniformity, uniform pattern. Okay. So there are different principles. How there is a that is follows a uniform pattern. Okay. So there is a definite pattern in one or the other dimension. Then that is every one grows in a similar order. Like baby learns to lift their heads before crawling. First they try to lift their hands, then they crawl. So there is a principle of uniform pattern. Okay, there is a uniform pattern is there. That follows a definite pattern. Okay, so principle of cephalocaudal. So development generally moves from head to toe because babies control their head and neck before their arms and neck. First they control their head and neck before they controls their arms and legs. So that is principle of cephalodorsal. That is growth in the direction of longitudinal axis. Okay. The child first gain control over his head and arms and then on his legs. In the that is principle of cephalocaudal. Okay. Then is principle of proximodistal. That is control of the torso and arms develops before hands and fingers. Okay. That is development occurs in the central part than in the outer part. So then comes principles of cephalocaudal, proximodistal, that torso and arms develop before hands and fingers. That is growth that proceeds from the spine to the extremities. First development occurs in the spinal portion and then to the extremities. That is central part of the body outward. Then cephalocaudal means पहले first head develops, next develops before arms and legs. Then comes principles of continuity. Means changes in the body happens all through life from birth to old age. No sudden stops. That is principle of continuity. Then comes principles of lack of uniformity in the development rate. That is development rate occurs at differential rate. For example, some kids grow faster or slower than others, while growth can speed up or slow, or growth can speed up or speed down. Growth can speed up or slow down at different times. That is uniform rates. Growth and development occurs at uniform rates. Okay. So there is not uniformity in the development rate. Principles of individual differences also occurs. Okay, cephalocaudal principle, proximo-distal principle. So developmental is holistic. Individual differences exist. Hard individual different in a different way. So growth is continuous, pattern, varied, head to toe, center out, simple to complex, influenced by genetic and environmental, holistic and individual. So there is a principles of integrity. Because children first learn to hand movement, then finger movements, and then learn the movement of both hands and finger together. This is called integration. So children first learn hand movement, then he learns finger movement, then he simultaneously do hand movement as well as finger movement. That is called principles of integration. So there is a principles of lack of uniformity in the differential in the development rate. There is a principle of cephalodoxal proximity distal, principles of uniformity, principles of continuity, principles of proximity distal, cephalocaudal, uniform pattern. So there are different principles of growth and development. Okay. So there are also different stages of growth. Okay. Stages of growth. I have discussed with you definition of growth and development. Then comes principles of growth and development. Then comes stages. So first is prenatal stage. So prenatal stage, how to define it? It is the stage from conception to birth. Okay. There is development of organs and body parts. Rapid development of organs and body parts. Okay. Prenatal stage. There are different stages of human and growth. So there is physical development, cognitive development, and psychosocial development. Okay. So you can relate stages of growth with physical, cognitive, and psychosocial development. So what happens in the prenatal stage? So what happens in the prenatal stage? Prenatal stage is the stage from conception to birth. That is physical development. What happens? There is a development of organs, there is muscles, and there is brain. So cognition. So brain structures start developing. It sets the foundation of thinking later on. Means psychosocial, means baby respond to mother's emotions and environment, stress, nutrition. Then comes infancy. So here prenatal stage means rapid cell division occurs, organ formation occurs, Body, baby's response to mother's environmental nutrition stress, development of brain, heart, and limbs. Then comes infancy, means babies grows very fast, double birth weight by 6 months. Infancy means 0 to 2 years. Learns to hold head, crawl, sit up, head up, crawl and walk. Starts speaking simple words, babbling. Begins to recognize people and show emotions. First is the prenatal stage, second is infancy, then is early childhood. Okay, early childhood means 2 to 6 years. That is prenatal, infancy, early childhood. 2 to 6 years or 3 to 6 years, middle childhood, 6 to 12 years. So what happens in early childhood? Runs, jumps, draws simple shapes, vocabularies, grows, speaks in sentences. Okay. So learns to share, play with others, understand rules, develop self-care skills. That is dressing, eating. He develops self-care skills. ड्रेस करना, okay, then eating, they are called self-care skills. Then it learns to share, play with others, and develop a lot of things in it. Okay, so there is a lot of improvement in the condition. Baby runs, baby starts self-care, learns to play with others, share, play with others, understand rules, vocabulary grows rapidly, speaks in sentences. Okay, so what happens in early childhood? Running, drawing, dashing, cognitive development. So understand symbols and pretends play. Learn to share, follow rules, develop self-confidence. Then comes middle childhood, is 6 to 12 years. So there is steady growth in height and strength, develop logical skills, problem solving skills, social skills, builds friendship, understand teamwork, gains a sense of competence. So gains a sense of competence. So middle childhood, what happens in middle childhood? So there is growth in height and weight, develops logical thinking, problem solving approach, skills, school skills, psychosocial, means builds friendship, understand teamwork, gains a sense of competence. Then comes adolescence, means puberty changes, voice changes, body hair comes, okay, develops abstract thinking, plans for future, question ideas. Okay, so it is a period of rapid physical growth where personal bodies get smaller and bigger quicker in short time. It usually happens during childhood, but most notably during adolescence. So then comes adolescence. Okay, physical growth completes, physical puberty changes, then forms identity, seeks independence, experiences intense emotions, seeks independency, forms identity, seeks independence, and experiences intense emotions. Adulthood 80 plus means physical growth complete, so maintaining health becomes important. Cognitive means decision making skills mature, applies knowledge. Psychosocial build intimate relations, family, handle works and social roles. Adulthood, that is young adulthood, उसके then comes middle adulthood, then comes late adulthood, young adulthood, middle adulthood, then comes late adulthood. Body slows down, loss in strength and senses, some memory changes, wisdom grows, reflects on life, copes with loss, values relationship. So every stage physical growth supports brain development which helps learning and thinking, while social and emotional skills grows alongside shaping how we relate to others. So height increases rapidly, growth spurt. Body is maturing and develops towards high height. Explain the hormones involved in growth spurts. So there are various stages of development, that is prenatal, then early childhood, infancy, early childhood, middle childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, middle adulthood, late adulthood. So there are a lot of changes, bodily changes involved in it. Body increases in height, mental develops, hand movement, leg movement, crawling, then walking, then running, learns to run. Then there occurs other changes, logical thinking, learns rules, develops social skills, intimate relationships, reacts to mother's emotions, growth spurts, puberty changes occurs, then body learns abstract thinking, intimate relationship, develop social skills, learn team spirit, teamwork, intense emotions, then running, drawing, dressing, self confidence, learns to share for rules, forms identity, seeks independence, intense emotions, intimate relationship, handle works, loss, handles, changes in memory, cope with loss, reflects on life, loss, value relationship, cognitive means wisdom increases, some memory changes, body slows down, some loss in strength and change senses. So some loss in strength and senses. There is a loss of senses too. Prenatal stage, then infancy, then adult childhood, middle childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So there are various stages of growth. So growth, a lot of changes occurs in the physical. There is a physical development, there is a cognitive development, there is a psychosocial development. Learn social skills, brain develops, learns logical skills, abstract thinking, develop emotions, learns to cope with stress, intense emotions, body responds to mother's environment, nutrition, stress, self-care develops, begins to recognize, speaking, babbles, start babbling, then speaking simple words, learns reading, writing, math skills, then strong sense of identity and independence, abstract thinking, planning for the future, mental abilities may peak and they stabilizes, lifestyle changes, there is a lot of changes that occurs in the body, as well as so I have discussed with you a lot of, there is a structure of stages of prenatal, there is natal, there is infant, there is childhood, adolescence, maturity and senescence. There are various stages of growth and development. That is prenatal, then natal, then infant, then childhood, then adolescence, then maturity, then senescence. Okay. So there are a lot of changes occurs in the physical, changes occurs, cognitive changes occurs, as well as psychosocial development occurs. Okay. There is a self-awareness occurs, self-concept develops, emotions grow, gender identity develops, self-care develops. Okay. A lot of changes occurs. So then comes then we will proceed. What are the theories in human development? What are the various factors affecting growth and development? Yes, of course. So there are various stages of growth, factors affecting growth and development, genetic, environmental, bio, biochemical, nutritional, cultural, socio-economic factors. Then ages and senses we will study. Then we will study theories, biological and chronological longevity. We have studied principles of growth and development, factors affecting growth and development. Yes, there are heredity, there are a lot of factors affecting growth and development. Yes, there are environmental like clean air, okay, clean water, good schools, pollution, unsafe living conditions can influence growth and development. Then nutrition means eating nutritious food can bring out change in growth and development, and eating poor nutrition can hamper your health. So genetic traits mean traits inherited from your parents like height, body shapes, body color, skin color sometimes affect health condition. So genetics provide instructions how you grow. So hereditary effects, okay, genetic effects, nutrition effects, environmental factors also play a very important role. So then comes nutrition. In environment factors, you need to quote Bergman's rules, Allen's rules. So the environment plays a crucial role in the development of child growth and child. Some total of physical and physiological changes in the body. Okay, nutrition is a critical factor in growth. Family influences, socio-economic conditions, so education status, more money, have better access to food, healthcare, safer environment. So poverty and stress can slow growth and development. The socio-economic condition, they can slow, they can speed up. Okay. So cultural behavior has also effect on consumption of rice, meat, milk, fish, etc. Cleanliness, sanitation, home environment are part of cultural environment. So there are a lot of factors that impact your growth and development. That eating good nutrition, food, taking calcium, magnesium, vitamins, minerals can increase growth and development of your body. Poor nutritious nutrition level harm your body. Then also hereditary, the genetic traits that are transmitted from your parents can affect the way, can affect your body size, body height, body color, skin color, hair color, eyes color. So in turn influences growth and development. So they play a very important role in influencing your growth and development. Then comes environmental factors like clean air, water, clean surroundings, pollution-free environment can affect your growth and development. Then nutrition also affect your growth and development. Then family and friends. Okay, so how Children are developed psychologically, socially. They are raised by the parents or grandparents or foster care. They need love, care, and curiosity to develop as a healthy, functional individuals. So, socioeconomic status, the quality of opportunity child gets. Cultural behavior also affects your child growth and development. Plays a very important role. Okay. We are studying stages of growth and development, principles of growth and development, factors affecting growth and development. Okay. Then we will study aging and senescence. So aging and senescence, we will study characteristics of senescence. We will study what is aging and senescence. We will study a lot of things. Then chronological versus biological age, we will also study what is that. Okay. After that, we will take up theories of aging. That we will study biological theories, then social theories, then developmental theories. Then we will study human physique and somatotypes, relevance of menopause, and other things. A lot of things we will discuss over here. Okay, so this chapter is very long and vast. We will try to study as much as we can. A lot of things are discussed over here that will be beneficial for you. You have to master on three things in order to score high in anthropology. First is content building. You have to develop, uh, collect or arrange good quality content. Okay, good quality content is very much important. Is the first and foremost. Then you have to do PYQs analysis. You have to do PYQs analysis, deep analysis, and by doing content enrichment and PYQ analysis, you will do answer writing practice. So these answer writing, PYQs studies, then content enrichment are three most important stages for your selection in UPSC mains. So I have discussed with you a lot of things. Okay, aging and senescence. So it is measured, it is a way to measure time in person's life. How old? Age is simply how old someone is. It means how old someone is. That is aging. The number of years since they were born is called age. So it's simply how old someone is. How old someone is, or it depicts the number of years since they were born. That is aging. Senescence means natural aging process. So when the body's cells and systems start to slow down and don't work as well. It starts to slow down and don't work as well. It is a natural aging process. It happens, senescence happens as a person gets older, usually after adulthood, and leads to things like there is a wrinkles on your face, weaker muscles, slower healing, sometimes memory changes. It is normal, senescence is a normal part of life and not a disease. So it helps us to understand why older adults needs different care or support. Healthy lifestyle can slow some effects of senescence. Healthy lifestyle. That is very much important. Okay. So one of the major risk factors for cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and neurodegenerative disease. Neurodegenerative disorders, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, cancer disease, diabetes, cause aging and age-related disease. Okay. So there is damage, continuous process of damaging to the cells. It is irreversible form of stress or damage to the cells. It is a complex biological process which results in cells death as a result of genetic and to a great extent environmental factors and time. So there are a lot of hallmarks of aging. You must know what is the difference between aging and senescence. So aging means declining phase. It is also part of aging. It refers to there is a wear and tear on the cells and tissues. It refers to the physical decline, functional decline in the later life. It includes all stages of life, childhood, adulthood. Okay. It can be measured by chronology. It includes physical changes, mental changes, social changes. Okay. Aging means getting older. All the changes that happens as time passes, the biological changes inside the body that causes it to slow down and age physically. So age includes all stages of life. Senescence includes later stages of life. So aging refers to cell death. It refers to cell deterioration. There are hallmarks of aging are loss of mitochondrial dysfunction, stem cell exhaustion, causing aging and age-related diseases. One of the major risk factors for cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and neurogenetic disorders. So there are a lot of things that are going to be discussed over here. Aging and senescence. I hope I have tried to make it clear to you. Aging, there is a lot of things. Okay, there is a cellular damage, there is a cell death, there is a progressive loss of physiological integrity, there is irreversible long-term cell cycle arrest. That is, there is a occurs cell cycle arrest. The cell cycle is a process. The cell grow and divide into new cells. Means the cell passes and stop this process at a certain point. Okay. So there is a telomere attrition. Okay. Mitochondrial dysfunction. Stem cells. So stem cells exhaustion takes place. So they can turn into many different types of cells. They can repair and regenerate tissues in the body. They generate tissues in the body. So they are located in the brain, they are located in the skin, they are located in the brain, skin, muscles, blood, digestive tract, intestines, and umbilical cord at birth, often stored for medical use. Which source of stem cells? Umbilical cord. Umbilical cord. Where stem cells are very special. The stem cells exhaustion. Okay. There is a DNA damage, mitochondrial DNA damage, mitochondrial dysfunction, epigenetic alteration, genomic instability. So all this happens in lot of things happens. That is cell destruction, DNA dysfunction, DNA damage, mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay. Telomere. Telomere attrition. So telomeres क्या होते हैं? These are the so telomere attrition means telomere gets shorter at each time a cell divides. Over time, cells keeps dividing. The telomere becomes too short to protect the chromosomes properly. So these are the protective capes at the ends of your chromosomes, which carry your DNA. So chromosomes carry our DNA. So these are the protective caps at the end of the chromosomes. Okay. So these are called telomere attrition. Telomere shortening occurs. Okay. Mitochondrial dysfunction, cellular senescence. Okay. So telomere shortening, DNA damage, cell cycle inhibitors. So epigenetic alteration. So epigenetic alteration means working of genes without changing the actual DNA sequence. So exposure to, they can turn off genes. They are reversible. So genes epigenetic alteration means there is a change in the working of genes. These are changes in how your genes work without changing the actual DNA. Which parts? to read or skip. Epigenetic occurs, diet, nutrition, stress, exposure to chemicals, lifestyle habits like exposure, changes in epigenetic alteration, aging. So there are, I have discussed with you a lot of things. Okay, now last topic, what is chronological and biological age? So chronological age is how old am I, or the number of years you have lived. So biological means how your old your body and cells seem based upon nutrition and health. So same for everyone born on the same day, but it can be different from your chronological age. Some people's bodies age faster or slower. It reflects your true health and aging process. It does not show how healthy or young you feel. Okay, so biological age is different from chronological age. How old our cells really are. So biological age can be reversed by changing our lifestyle, environment. So how old are you? And that is based upon your health and functions, based upon our cells age, our health and bodily functioning. So it is same for everyone who born on the same day. It is different from the chronological age. Measures by your date of birth. Measures by factors like physical fitness, organ health, and cell condition. Modern health, physical fitness, organ health, and cell condition. Okay, so guys, go through the videos of mine from starting to end. You will learn a lot of things in anthropology. Optional. Okay, guys, let us keep up to here only. In the next video, we will discuss the next topics. Okay, guys, bye bye. Take care.